All right, let's talk about the invisible forces that are shaping your world every single day. We're going to pull back the curtain on influence and manipulation and show you how your decisions, everything from what you buy to what you believe, are being subtly guided, often without you even noticing.
In fact, let me show you what I mean. Let's try a quick experiment. Right now, I just want you to think of a musical instrument. Any one at all. You got it? Okay, hold on to that thought.
So did a violin happen to pop into your head? If it did, you're definitely not alone. And trust me, it is no coincidence. This is a perfect little example of something called priming, where tiny, unconscious cues in our environment can steer our thoughts without us ever realizing what's happening.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Influence isn't some dark art used only by advertisers or politicians. We are all constantly in this game, influencing and being influenced. It's just a fundamental part of how we interact with each other, as natural as breathing. Most of the time, we just don't even know we're doing it.
So how did we get here? How did this totally normal human trait get supercharged into an industrial-scale tool that can shape entire societies? Well, let's trace the blueprint, starting with the big shifts that made it all possible.
If you look at human history, you can really map it across 5 huge information revolutions. Each one, from the invention of language, to writing, to the printing press, and right up to the digital age we're in now, has massively amplified our ability to communicate, and of course, our power to influence each other. But it was that 4th one, electricity, that really changed everything. It was a total tipping point. It gave us mass media, radio, television, and for the very first time in history, the power to influence millions and millions of people all at once. This is the moment influence became an industry.
Now, these words get thrown around a lot, so let's get really clear on what we're talking about. Influence, on its own, is neutral. It's just changing how someone sees something. But it crosses a serious line into manipulation when it's done at your expense. And it becomes propaganda when it's used to steer whole groups of people, whole societies, towards conflict. And if you want to find the person who basically wrote the playbook for modern mass manipulation, you have to look at this guy, Edward Bernays. He was Sigmund Freud's nephew, and he took his uncle's incredible insights into the human mind and applied them on a massive scale. First, he did it for the US government, helping to convince a reluctant American public to enter World War I. And later, he did it for the biggest corporations in the world.
It's honestly staggering when you look at what this guy did. I mean, on one hand, he could engineer something as seemingly simple as what you eat for breakfast. Yeah, he's the reason we think of bacon and eggs as a hearty American meal. But on the other hand, he could help orchestrate a political coup in another country just by reframing its leader as a communist. It all came down to the power of framing, and that technique is absolutely 100% still being used today.
And that, of course, brings us to today, the 5th revolution, the digital age. See, Bernays' techniques, they never went away. They've just been automated, personalized, and unleashed on a scale he couldn't have even imagined. And it's all powered by the engine of big tech.
You know, we all kind of feel like we're being tracked online. It's in the back of our minds. But do you have any idea what the true scale of this operation is? I mean, just how deep does this rabbit hole actually go?
Well, get this. A company like Facebook can use up to 500,000 different criteria to analyze you, to figure out your personality, to understand what makes you tick. 500,000.
So what do they do with all that information? They build what's called a digital double of you. It's like this virtual avatar, a data-driven version of you that an AI can use to run simulations on, predicting and then influencing what you're going to do next. And it's terrifyingly accurate.
So what's your digital self-worth in this new economy? Well, to a company like Google, your data generates about this much per year. Now, I know $40 doesn't sound like a lot, but multiply that by billions of users, and suddenly you're looking at one of the most profitable industries in human history, built on knowing you better than you know yourself. Okay, I get it. This all sounds pretty intense. Maybe a little dystopian. But listen, the point of this is not to make you paranoid. It's to get you prepared. Because you absolutely can take back control.
So what's the move here? Is the only real option to just disconnect? To go completely off the grid, live in a cabin in the woods?
No, absolutely not. The real solution is actually much more powerful. You just have to understand the rules of the game, because once you know the rules, you stop being just a piece on the board and you become a player. And your first line of defense? It's something you probably use every single day. Your web browser. A standard browser, something like Chrome, it's designed to create a unique digital fingerprint that makes it easy to track you across the web. But a secure browser, like Brave for example, is built to protect you. It blocks trackers automatically and scrambles that fingerprint.
Building out your own digital defense kit is actually pretty straightforward. You can use different secure browsers for different things, like one for work, one for personal stuff. Using a good VPN is huge. It masks your true location. And if you really want to level up, you can even look into a more secure operating system for your phone, which can dramatically cut down on the data leaking from the device in your pocket.
So let's zoom out for a second. What's the real takeaway here? What's the ultimate countermove in this huge invisible game we're all playing?
Look, the goal isn't to somehow escape influence entirely. That's just impossible. And it's not even a good idea. It's how we connect, how we learn, how we build communities. No, the real goal is to become aware of it, to build this skill to tell the difference between helpful, benign influence and harmful, hidden manipulation.
We are living through such an extraordinary, revolutionary time. As the expert Jerome Bondu puts it, the risk that we could lose in this digital revolution is very real, but so is the opportunity. Mastering the rules isn't just about surviving, it's about being able to thrive.
And that is the ultimate countermove. Understanding these systems, seeing how they work, it shifts you from being a passive product to being an active, informed participant. It gives you agency. So the final question isn't about how they're playing the game, it's about you. Now that you know the rules, how are you going to play?